Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, George Harris joins us. He's chairman of Nevadans for Sound Government for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
Take a look at Pro Group Management and see how your workers' comp requirements can be met head-on. By taking a proactive approach, Pro Group can assure that your company is meeting or exceeding state and federal standards. As you move forward in your industry, Pro Group moves with you, simplifying regulatory tasks, clearing the way so you can get the job done and look to your future success. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're always pleased to welcome back to the program George Harris. He is chairman of Nevadans for Sound Government. Pleasure to have you back on the program, George.
Sam, thank you. It's actually a pleasure to talk to you. I pray every day that we get through this pandemic and that we don't lose any citizens, and that everybody is safe and everybody is going to be fine.
And a good thought there, obviously. You want to give us some background on what you want to tell us about. So let's start with the background.
All right. So Sam, I've done some research and we have uncovered a bunch of fraud and a bunch of problems with the ballot and all of it surrounds itself, Sam, from this Assembly Bill 4, which took a law that was in effect for close to 30 years that made it a felony to ballot harvest in the state of Nevada. And so people, if you don't understand what ballot harvesting is, it allows someone to go collect ballots and take them down to the election department, and it just opens the entire system up for fraud. And it seems, the history of is Governor Sisolak, and my sources tell me the DNC, the Democrat National Committee, came in during the special session. They conspired and created and enacted Assembly Bill 4 under the auspices of creating provisions for conducting elections adversely affected by certain emergencies or disasters, in this case COVID, which in thought was very good, but that wasn't Governor Sisolak's goal. His goal was to strip the statute of the fraud felony. So he took that out of the statute, and it became abundantly clear that this was Sisolak's goal, because not only did he reject an emergency proposed regulation that would have given the Secretary of State's office tighter control over ballot harvesting, he and the DNC and Assembly Democrats froze Secretary of State Barbara Sagasti out of every working meeting on the bill. The regulation requested by Barbara Sagasti was simple. It would have required anybody who handles a ballot on the voter's behalf to register with her office and disclose any corporate, political, or advocacy groups that they're associated with. Very simple. That's all. It's a very simple request. And the governor rejected it out of time. So any and all corruptive cheating schemes land directly in Governor Sisolak's lap. Assembly Bill 4 is a perfect RICO bill for the FBI. And for those of you who don't understand what RICO is racketeer, influenced, and corrupt organizations. It's sad, Sam. I mean, to add insult to injury, Sisolak put the cost of the burden onto the taxpayers. Heck, during the primary, the state and the two largest counties spent a combined estimate of $3.5 million just to mail out the ballots and to do voter education. The general election's on track to be a train wreck regarding the cost of mailing ballots, and the cost to taxpayers is going to be repugnant. It's estimated that it'll be an additional $5 million. But let's be clear. This is because ballot harvesting is now no longer a felony in the state of Nevada.
All right, so now let's discuss in a little bit more detail exactly what ballot harvesting is. Is this not where if somebody is not able to go and vote themselves, that somebody else can take their ballot and drop it off? Is that correct?
That's the idea of this. It's always, for almost 30 years, it's been a felony for someone to take ballots in mass numbers because it opens it to fraud. Because what happens is, whether you work for a company, whether you work for a union, there's nefarious characters out there that want to cheat in the election. And they go and they get these ballots. And in a few minutes, I'm going to explain to you how they've done this little scheme. Okay. And they take these ballots down and they hand them into the county. Nobody's signing for these ballots. Nobody knows who delivers these ballots. Nobody knows if someone went out to 500 mailboxes, took the mail ballots out, voted them, and then delivered them to the election department.
Okay, so a couple of things. Now, my wife and I voted, and I took her ballot and my ballot, took them over to the county offices, dropped them off in the box, and we were done. So that obviously is legitimate. Is there a line between doing that and what would be considered, in your mind, illegal ballot harvesting? Is it 5 ballots? Is it 10?
Well, it's not illegal anymore. The governor made sure it's not illegal, and they stripped the statute of the felony charge. This is when you have groups and organizations, which is what Sagowski asked for. She said, look, if you're part of a group or an organization, you need to file with our office so we know if you bring 20 tubs of ballots down to the election department, we can tie those ballots to you. And if there's a problem with those ballots, then we can put you in jail.
All right, so one of the protections is the signature. And I know from a good friend of mine here in Washoe County that during the primary, she had her husband fill out her ballot and sign that ballot for her. And it was caught by the county. They wouldn't accept the ballot. They contacted her. They got it sorted out. But they were very quick to catch that that wasn't the appropriate signature for that ballot. Would that not occur as well, even if there was a case of ballot harvesting?
Sam, here's a problem. There are characters out there that are nefarious, that want to cheat. Then there's a lot of good people that get ballots at their home from the people that live there prior to them, and they're voting the ballots. Okay, because they go, oh, I want my guy to win. I don't believe those folks are it is wrong what they're doing. It's illegal what they're doing. But, people are passionate. But there's groups out there that are harvesting these ballots, and now they're legally allowed to do it. For, like I told you again, for almost 30 years, it was a felony to ballot harvest in the state of Nevada. And I'm telling you, it's a scary thing. It will destroy democracy, and it's a frightening, chilling event that's taking place. Okay,
but I mean, it obviously cannot be legal for somebody to do something that was a felony, even if the crime is reduced. It can't be just zero penalty.
No, Sam, you're wrong. Unless someone points out how repugnant the entire system is, it's not illegal anymore. There's no felony attached to you ballot harvesting. Now, if you can catch these folks going to employees and say, bring your ballot in, and you're going to fill your ballot out in front of me, okay, and then we're going to take it down for you. Yes, that I'm sure that the police will look into as an illegal act. But nobody's doing that, Sam. And I will show you in a few minutes how we know no one's doing it.
Okay, let me ask you this. Secretary Sagaski, I think, has done a very good job in her time in office of being, as most Secretary of States have been, bipartisan, or nonpartisan, I should say. Why has she not raised the alarm very loudly if she is concerned about this? Because it's her office and the county offices that would deal with this.
Sam, that's not true, and that's not fair. She raised the alarm, and she got shut out by the governor. She said, look, we need to put this provision in that we can have oversight, and the governor rejected it. It's in the paper on August 8th. All the papers wrote about it. I mean, she has been very loud on this issue. Look, she was sued the other day by the Republicans because they're saying there's not meaningful oversight, and they're not wrong. There isn't meaningful oversight. Listen, NRS 293B 354 states that a clerk must submit a plan to the Secretary of State's office to accommodate members of the general public. That means anybody, not Republican Party or Democrat Party or IAP. It says the general public to observe, delivery, counting, and handling and process of the ballots. Now, the Clark County group didn't provide this plan until 24 hours before the case went to court, but they were required to provide it on April 15th of this year. Okay, so that's one problem. And everybody says, well, you know, they were over. It doesn't say that the Clark County Registrar of Voters is required by law. It says the county clerk is required by law. So why this wasn't done is very questionable. Okay.
Oh, okay. So this is the case, I'm presuming, that Adam Laxalt was involved in?
Oh, please listen. Little Lord Laxalt has one thing on his mind, and that's his own self-promotion. Okay. He doesn't understand this stuff. He doesn't, you know, it's just frightening how incompetent that person is. Okay. This is about the state party, I guess, the Republican state party filed a suit saying, look, we need meaningful, the law allows for meaningful observation, and we're not getting meaningful observation. There is questions out there that in both the larger counties, Washoe and Clark, that ballots are coming in, the ballots are being separated from the envelope, they're being checked, but there's no way to know which ballot goes to which envelope because they separated the ballot in the envelope. Now, it's their responsibility to prove to everybody that that's not happening. If that is happening, that's a big problem.
All right, so there was an emergency injunction sought. Judge Wilson rejected it, but there is going to be a hearing coming up this week.
Yes, Judge Wilson rejected the injunction, but this Wednesday is the hearing. In the hearing, Sam, it's pretty obvious. I mean, the law is pretty obvious. You got 293B 354. That's the Nevada revised statute that says that the public is allowed meaningful observation. Then you have the rules on how meaningful observation works, and that's the Nevada Administrative Code, which is 293-245. So they're not gonna lose on that argument. I mean, the law is pretty clear. There's no ambiguity in the law. I mean, you have to allow the public to come and view what's taking place. And there is charges right now that they're not allowing the public to view on what's going on.
Okay, but the other side of that argument is that they say that they are, that they are allowing people to do what is required, and so that is a point of contention at this point in time.
Well, Sam, it's you know, that's a bunch of malarkey because they only submitted the plan 24 hours before this lawsuit was fired.
right,
filed in court. So I sort of question the fact that people are getting meaningful observation.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back. You've got some evidence that you've uncovered, and let's talk about that after this timeout.
Your good times are at Tamarack Casino. All new DC Cafe and Bar, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Ooh, your good times at Tamarack.
Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
Ahern Rentals began as Signal Gas Station on Las Vegas Boulevard. Founder John Ahern grew the business by offering rentals. His son Don built on John's legacy, growing Ahern Rentals into the largest independently owned American rental company, with 89 locations in 30 states. Don also brought his experience and vision to equipment manufacturing with Extreme Manufacturing and Snorkel. Today, Ahern Rentals continues to bring its family values to a new generation. Learn more at ahern.com.
Hey guys, are you watching the game at a friend's or the bar again because you can't watch at home with your wife? Or worse, because she kicked you out and kept your couch, your flat screen, and your kids? What's the one thing a man needs when he loses a good woman? A good lawyer. And when he loses a bad woman, he needs a great lawyer. What makes a good woman a bad woman? You tell me. You're the one that can't watch the game in your own home. I'm men's rights attorney Marilyn York, and I represent men in divorce, custody, and family law matters.
The signs and symptoms of cataracts can start out small with subtle changes in your vision. So don't wait. Be proactive and take your vision into your own hands. If you're experiencing the onset of cataracts or just have questions, contact your eye care professional or call Eye Care Associates of Nevada today. Dr. Hiss has years of experience specializing in the surgical correction of eye disorders and has completed over 84,000 vision correcting procedures. At Eye Care Associates of Nevada, we'll change the way you look at the world.
Your good times are at Tamarack Casino. All new DC Cafe and Bar, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Ooh, your good times at Tamarack.
Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with George Harris. He is the chairman of Nevadans for Sound Government. George, you've been doing a little digging. What have you found?
Well, Sam, I'm a regular guy, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but we have done digging, and the digging's been provided to us by the counties. I mean, Sam, I don't understand why they're not doing this. We asked for the list of the people who voted as of, in Clark it was 5 days ago, and in Washoe it was 3 days ago. We said, can we have that list? And they're very cooperative, and they said, you go to the website, pull the list down, it provides you a list of all the ballots that have been turned in and people who voted. Okay, so we take that list, Sam, and pull that list up, look at it, and I'll tell you, that list was sent over, and it was NCOA, National Change of Address. Now, this is a list that the county gave us. And these are people who have voted in this election. And we got back in Clark over 8,000 people who voted that had moved out of the state since 2016, 17, and 18. We got a list from Washoe County of people who voted that have moved out of the state since 2016, 17, 18, 19. And that list was over 15,000. So you go, what? Wait a minute. These people moved out of the state and they're voting. Well, how's that possible? Well, we know nefarious people are somehow getting hold of their ballots because they knew they moved out of state, because they NCO'd this prior, or they're going to those homes and someone in that home is voting on their ballot. So that's a huge red flag. Okay, huge red flag.
All right, so let me ask you this. Have you turned over this information to either Chris Hicks, the district attorney of Washoe County?
The information is going to be turned over to the Secretary of State's office later today. And we're going to request that an investigation be sought on all these addresses to be verified, because we didn't include, when we got it back, there, there's APO addresses, which means they're in the military. Those were taken off. But Sam, the point is that this isn't a list we created. This is a list that was given to us by the counties. But Sam, here's the other thing. We're in a room and someone goes, wow, this is a big number. This is a terrible number. And someone said, well, you know what? We should also bounce the list that the counties gave us off the National Death Registry. I said, well, why? I mean, I don't think dead people are going to be voting. Guess what, Sam? Dead people are voting. That's right. The list that we were provided by the counties was bounced off the death registry database. And in Washoe County, almost 800 people that are not with us anymore voted in this election. And in Clark County, over 400 people that are not with us anymore voted in this election. And Sam, I know it's not nonsense because this ballot right here, this is my friend Ron Fox, and he got this ballot in this election, and Ron passed away 7 years ago. 7 years ago, Sam. Where's the list maintenance? Why aren't these governmental agencies doing list maintenance? How does this slip through the cracks? It's very, very, very concerning that either there is some nefarious activities going on within the integrity of the voting thing, or it's incompetence. And I tend to go with the latter, that we have incompetence taking place.
All right, let's take one more break. We'll come back and we'll round this up. We'll be right back.
Dimitri Prine here for Design Outdoor. At Design Outdoor, we specialize in all hardscapes, pavers, and walls you'll need for everything, from wonderful small yards to full-blown outdoor living. And we only refer the best contractors to make your vision a reality. Our store and backyard are located at 11600 South Virginia, just north of DeMonte Ranch Parkway. Visit designoutdoor.com or call us at 851-9499.
I'm men's rights attorney Marilyn York, and because I represent men in all family law matters, women often call me gender traitor, woman hater, and even disgusting. So why represent men and target myself with these offensive monikers? It's simple. Children with fathers in their lives are 6 times less likely to drop out of school, 15 times less likely to go to prison, and 5 times less likely to commit suicide. So ladies, you can hate me, but please love your children more than you hate their fathers.
Hi, I'm Dave Newman. Remember me? I used to be the house detective, and now I'm a realtor, full-time at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates. A lot of people ask me, how's the market? You know what? It's fantastic. If you're even kicking around the idea of buying or selling, give me a call. Let's talk about it. Call me at RE/MAX Realty Affiliates and just ask for the guy who used to be the house detective, Dave Newman.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with George Harris. He's the chairman of Nevadans for Sound Government, claiming voter fraud here. So what's the next phase? You're going to take this to the Secretary of State's office, and I presume you're going to go to the Attorney General at some point, Aaron Ford.
Well, what I'm going to do is send it to the appropriate agency, which is the Secretary of State's office. She's the appropriate agency. And I'm going to let them look at it. These are numbers that were given to us by the counties. We didn't make these numbers up, okay? And if this is happening, it is voter fraud. And it's very, very concerning. I mean, Sam, I can't tell you how chilling it is to say, I get up, I stand in line. I stood in line to vote, Sam, for an hour and 30 minutes to find out that someone else is ballot harvesting and cheating and voting. It's not right, it's not fair, and it's not legal, and it's got to stop.
Do you have any indication of who is doing this? Is it, what kind of organization, if there is an organization that's behind us?
No, Sam, it could be multiple organizations. It could be both sides. It could be all. I don't know. I do know that the vehicle has been put in place to allow it to happen. And it's absolutely wrong, and it's got to be stopped. And the people that changed this law should be ashamed of themselves. Sam, I'm not against a family being able to take their ballot for their mom who's in the hospital and deliver it down. I mean, of course, that's totally acceptable. I'm against when people find out, hey, we're allowed to ballot harvest. Well, let's do a national change of address and find out everybody that moved. Oh, and by the way, let's go to remember, Sam, I'm the guy who uncovered voter fraud in the Gary Horrocks case in Assembly District 2 when Francis Allen ran for office. I'm the guy who found out that he had realtors identifying all the empty houses, and then he registered those friends at those empty houses, and they went and picked the ballots up. Okay, this isn't new to me.
George, we're out of time now. It's going to be fascinating to watch this process, and I know we will all be watching the process. Thank you for being here as always, my friend.
Thank you for having me, Sam. I appreciate it.
And we'll be right back.
A bird's eye captures its surroundings at different heights. At Brian Culpa Photography, we can make your imagination soar over buildings, parks, cityscapes, and beyond. Brian's images tell the story and get the job done. If you need a new perspective to tell your story, contact Brian today. Brian Culpa Photography. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Hi, my name's Marilyn Miner, and I'm sure you'd agree that Nevada's a very special place to live. I was born here, and my husband and I have raised our family here. I feel it's a privilege to live and work in the Truckee Meadows. I especially enjoy helping my clients reach their real estate goals. Sometimes the smallest details provide the greatest satisfaction. I'd be complimented to talk to you about your next move.
Call Marilyn Miner at Dixon Realty, 742-1280, or log on to marilynminer.com.
Safety. We all think about it. You think about it when he buckles in, when you check your mirrors and put away your phone. RTC thinks about safety too. In fact, we create it. Center turn lanes mean fewer blind spots. Bike lanes keep cyclists and you safe. Roundabouts reduce injury collisions, and all these crosswalks are designed to keep families like yours safe. Safety is your priority, and it's ours too. Every day, in everything we do.
Pro Group Management is the place where companies can find workers' comp solutions that are designed to meet their specific business requirements. As regulations evolve, Pro Group takes a proactive approach to clear the path to make sure your business stays ahead of the curve. Knowing your workers' comp program is optimized, you can focus on other important matters related to your growing business. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
As always, you can watch Nevada Newsmakers 24 hours a day at NevadaNewsmakers.com. We'll see you on the next show.